Okay, up to 140 now. Did a bit of a warm up with a plate, did 2 plates, 100 kilos. Just pausing, taking my time, just feeling it. My first few sets I don't even think about, I just feel them out. So I'm up to 140 now, which you can kind of see behind me. Just gonna have a go. The goal tonight, as it's my heavy bench session, the goal tonight is to get back up to 220. Last time I did a heavy bench session, I've had a couple of sessions since then, but my last heavy bench session was sometime middle of last week, when I worked up to 200 kilos and I did a cluster set. I did 3 clusters of 5 reps, so a total of 15 reps. And I think I said to you guys, if you watched the video, I've had a bit of an elbow owie injury, whatever you want to call it, pretty bad tendonitis to the point that it was becoming quite debilitating. So I'd left the heavy bench for 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it was. So I'm just breaking myself back in. The elbow isn't perfect, but it's feeling a lot better. So what better way than to get it injured again by benching 5 plates. So the goal tonight is to work up to 220 for a single or double. I'll see how it goes. But if all goes according to plan. Yeah, I felt pretty comfortable. Just did a double with this. I'm quite instinctive with my warm-ups. If everything's going according to plan, I tend to actually kind of just do lower reps. It felt fine in my hands. So did 140 for a quick double there. I'm going to go straight to 180 now, I think. Get a single or a double with this. And then I may go 200. Or I may go to 20 straight. I'll see. At the moment, I'm wearing some very light neoprene elbow sleeves. For the 180, I'll actually get my proper elbow wraps on, I think. As I said, because I'm nursing a little bit of an elbow owie, not injury. I kind of proceed with caution. So I'll get my wrist wraps on, get my elbow wraps on, hit 180 for a single or a double again, and then, as I said, I'll maybe go 200, maybe go 220, see how it goes. Yeah, 180 was cool. Can't complain. Did a decent enough pause on there. Can you see over my shoulder? Yep. Got a decent enough pause. And I just didn't want to waste any energy. I feel warm, I feel loosened up. I'm feeling the 180 then. I think I'm just going to go to 220. I'm not going to bother with 200. I'm just going to go 220. And get that for a single, maybe a double. And then I'll get some volume work afterwards. But those of you who kind of follow my workouts, you know, I basically do the 3 workouts for each movement pattern. So for my pressing, I have my heavy press, which is today, and that's just to build strength. Sorry, not build strength, it's more to demonstrate strength. It's not necessarily even building strength. Then I have a kind of bodybuilding workout, which is all about kind of muscle building, muscle hypertrophy, whatever you want to call it. And then I have my support workouts, where I choose exercises that I find quite beneficial for the bench press. So today, my press of choice, my heavy press of choice, is the flat bench with the axle. And as I said, 220 is the goal. And I'm just going to see where it takes me. As I said, I'll probably a single or a double. No big pressure. My max bench, for those of you who have followed me for a while, is 300 kilos. So I'm well off that. I haven't touched that since, I think it was around last October. But my journey has been a bit of a weird one because I started the year with the goal of getting up to a 302 kilo bench. And I ended up having a pec injury at the beginning of the year, which set me back. And I was on track because I managed the 290 in January. Then I had a bit of a pec injury, which set me back for a few months. Got back up to 280, and I'd slowly but surely had this elbow niggle with me. Those of you, I know a lot of you on here are pretty serious lifters. You like your weight, you don't like your drama. That's what my channel's about. Just a bit of lifting, a bit of chatting about it. But you know what it's like, particularly when you're an old man like me, who's the best part of 50 now. The niggles come with the territory. And there's always something stopping you from giving your best. But, you know, we still get in here and have a go anyway. So anyway, enough talking. I'm going to go and bench this 220 now. I almost caught myself out then. I paused for such a long time that it actually became quite heavy. But no, it was all right. It was okay. So I got 5 for a single there with a really long pause. That was probably 3 seconds or so. I don't know. And it got to a point where I was like, ooh, okay. Can I get this off my chest? The answer was yes, but it wasn't quite as fast as I wanted. But it was still fine. It was still fine. All right, I'm going to move on, get a little bit of support work done now. I'm going to have a go at cambered bar. Last time I did a heavy session, I was originally planning to do cambered bar, but I thought better of it, given the fact that I was just kind of breaking myself back into slightly heavier training. So I'm going to have a go at the cambered bar. I don't know what I'm going to work up to be honest with you. As I said, I haven't done it for a little while. Cambered bar, those of you who have ever used this, you know it's a nightmare bar because the range of motion is so great. You're probably moving the bar about another 3 inches or so, which really does make a difference on the bench press. So I'll warm up 60 kilos, 100 kilos, maybe go 140, and then I'll see where it takes me. I'm hoping somewhere between 160 to 180, all being well. camber bar, so horrible. That's a great exercise. But you just forget how tough it is, just because of the extreme range of motion. And you cannot use power, or should I say, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. You really have to just use strength and squeeze out to the bottom, rather than explode out the bottom. So it really does isolate the pecs. I use this as a really good chest support exercise. In the same way I use deficit deadlifts to help my deadlift. Just that extra range of motion I find really helps with the lockout. And I find exactly the same with the deficit bench press, the camber bar bench press, whatever you want to call it. It really just teaches you to drive all the way through. Really tough exercise, so I highly recommend it. Anyway, 100 kilos was fine, just did it for a set of 8. I'm going to go to 140 now. I don't know how many reps I'm going to get with it. 6 to 8, I'd imagine. I'll probably go 6 to 8 and see where it takes me from there. If it feels okay, I might go up. Otherwise, I might hang around at 140. Again, just being very instinctive at the moment. Everything feels fine, but I'll just play it by ear. It's moving okay. Felt pretty good, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go up to 180, and that'll be my top set then. And then that'll be me done for the day. I've said to you guys before, this workout is very low volume. It isn't necessarily about building muscle. It's about kind of demonstrating strength and supporting strength a little bit. To put it in context, my last chest workout was a bodybuilding session, because I mixed the order up depending. And it involved a tremendous amount of kind of flies, pec deck, incline dumbbell press, at assorted angles, things like that. And the rep range was anywhere from 10 to 30 rep range. So you get an idea. No, in fact, no, I didn't go up to 30, it was 20 reps. So I was doing sort of pre-exhausting and stuff like that on my last session. Again, just to put it in context for you. So, and I probably hit 20, 25 sets for chest, compared to today where it's, I've probably done about 20 reps altogether today, as opposed to a few hundred in my last workout. that's session done then. I'm going to keep this relatively quick. As usual, I've got a client coming in about 5-10 minutes time. I've got to strip all this lovely weight behind me down in a moment. So yeah, pretty pleased. Pretty pleased overall. It's getting back to where it needs to be. I'm just keeping my kid gloves on, being sensible. I'm old now. I would say, to be honest with you, I could probably hit 240 without maybe quite as long a pause, but I would imagine 240. So my next heavy session, that will probably be the goal, 240. At the moment, this is just simply acclimatizing the body, getting the elbows, getting the wrists, getting the sort of rotary cuffs, everything used to moving that amount of weight. So as I said, 220, had a really long pause. Felt fine, felt absolutely fine, just for a single. And then I finished off with the cambered bar and got up to 180 for 6, which again was cool for this stage. The most I've ever hit on the cambered bar, I believe, is 220. But the kind of risk to reward ratio there is a little much even for me, and I'm a bit of an idiot sometimes, to be honest with you. The cambered bar is absolutely phenomenal, but the range of motion is so extreme, it puts you in a very, very stretched position. And as someone that's torn a pec and had a pec strain / injury / minor tear at the beginning of the year, it's not something that I really want to revisit. So at the moment, 180 is good for me. I'm happy with it. The most I've hit this year is 200 on it, I believe, for a handful of reps. But that was a little while ago. But I think hitting 180, coming back off a bit of an elbow boo-boo, and a bit of a pec injury, 180 for a good quality 6 was absolutely fine at this stage. So yeah, everything was pretty good. As I said, the camber bar is just great because of the extreme range of motion, and it really helps you. If you are someone that struggles with lockouts, I know there is a number of schools of thought, and there's a number of exercises that you can use. But in the same way, I feel that deficit deadlifts help the lockout rather than, say, doing rack pulls. I'm a huge believer in the deficit bench press or the cambered bar bench press, really adding to that lockout and your ability to sort of drive and power through. And also, it really does just isolate the pec, because to do it safely, you just have to engage it. You cannot explode. You have to, the best way I can describe it is squeeze out of the bottom. If you explode, don't get me wrong, you can explode, but I wouldn't recommend it, because I think you're really lending yourself to a potential pec injury, which you don't want to do. Learn from me. I've been an idiot for many, many years, and I was the original ego lifter. Long before the term ego lifting was invented, I was there flying the flag, proud to be an ego lifter, bouncing stuff off my chest. And ultimately, here I am 30 years later with a load of injuries and banged up bits and pieces. I'm still going, still doing okay, but I wish I had 2025 mark, being able to go back to 1995 mark when I first started, and maybe give me a little bit of advice, because I said I was young, I was dumb, we made mistakes, I didn't know any better, and there was no internet. We just learned from magazines and watched the big guys down the gym, but that also led to a lot of injuries. It also made me the trainer that I am today because I learned from those mistakes. But the whole idea of my channel is, do a lift, have a bit of a chat, and, I'm just trying to build a positive community where we kind of share ideas and things like that. So if one or two of you out there can, learn from me, and learn not to make the mistakes that I maybe made, and save yourself a lot of rehab and quite a lot of pain, hopefully I've done my job. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Remember, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit notifications, all that good stuff. Keep on looking out on your feed for me. I am still doing my best to upload every couple of days. I'm going away for a few days next week on holiday, so I may not, I'll try and get a couple of videos out that I'm going to bank up. But the frequency may not be as great next week, but I'll kind of be back on schedule the week after. So if you don't see much of me next week, that'll be the reason why. As I said, we're going away on holiday for a little bit with the wife and kids, as it's my wife's birthday at the weekend, so it's a bit of a treat. So we're going on holiday for a little bit. Okay, so thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoy watching a pretty big lump, lifting some half decent weights and then having a bit of chat about it, then I might be your new favorite channel. So don't forget to subscribe. All right, you guys take care and I'll speak to you soon.